Today we have a special guest. His name is Byung, and he is in dental school right now. And a lot of people have questions about dental industry because it's also one of the field in medical, right? So yeah, I'm very excited to have Byung for an interview.
Thank you for having me.
Could you briefly introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Byung. I am currently a first year student at the Rutgers School of Dental Medicine in Newark, and yeah, here I am.
So thank you so much for your time again for an interview. And obviously, to be in a dental school, right, you have to be done with undergrad.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So let's just go from there. What was your major, and what was the reason why you chose that as a major?
Okay. I originally majored in genetics,
Oh.
and I was kind of like interested in like kind of like the genes and stuff, and like but then like when I majored in genetics, it was kind of like we went too in depth into like genes and stuff, which I kind of didn't find relevant for dentistry. So I actually switched to a biology major, like I think around middle of my sophomore year, and then so yeah, ever since then I was a bio major, and then I graduated with the bio degree.
Got it. So it seems like you started with like a genetic major. I guess somewhat it's in the science field,
Yeah.
but it wasn't quite close to dental school compared
Yeah.
to like bio major.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the reason why you chose bio major as your undergrad.
Yes.
Gotcha. So it seems like there are certain majors that are beneficial, like more beneficial than the other in terms of choosing a major. For people who are looking to get into dental school, do you think bio is like one of the best major, or maybe some major could be better?
I think I definitely recommend bio major because it's very broad and it covers a lot of topics. But in dental school, you'll be taking a lot of different science classes, and I would say like the electives that I had to take as a bio major, a lot of those classes actually helped me for dental school because I'm taking a lot of like similar classes that I took in undergrad in dental school. So yeah, I'll definitely say like bio is definitely a helpful major. But that isn't to say like I know like people I think there's like a common like misconception that you have to be like a science major to like go to dental school and stuff, which is not true at all. Like you can still you can be like a music major or like an English major and still apply to dental school and get in. So I would say like really like use like major in what you want to do and like what you enjoy. But yeah, like bio is definitely a major that I recommend.
Got it. Do you have any friend or any person who's in your dental program who has a pretty interesting major that you can think of right now? Just curious.
I think he did like music at first. He actually did like music at first, and then he kind of like switched over to dentistry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think music is pretty interesting
Yeah.
because honestly, like I mean, some people may say music is related to like medical field, but I think that's very specific. When we just talk about music like in general, we don't really relate that with like medical stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So I thought that was pretty interesting that
Yeah.
some people actually choose major that is outside of like medical related.
Yeah, it's actually interesting if you think about it because like for dentistry you need like good hand skills, and then like if you're like a music major like playing instruments and stuff that actually helps a lot with your hands.
Yeah.
And then also kind of like dentistry requires kind of like some like creativity because you make like making a lot of things and like molding stuff and so like if you kind of have that like I guess like artistic side to you or something, so like music actually kind of helps with that too.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was pretty cool that you brought up how like dental industry. Like if you were to be in dental industry, right, you have to be pretty dexterous. Like you have to be very good with your hand skills.
Yes.
Is there any like measure of testing before you get into dental school for that, or not really?
So before you get into dental school, no, but for some schools do like just like a one small question on your application to ask you like, oh, like what have you done to maybe like work on your manual dexterity or your hand skill. It's not like a major component, but they're just curious and want to know. Yeah, but it's not like a major component that's gonna decide like if you get in or not.
So I guess that's kind of more on once you get in, and then once you continue with the program, that's when you actually have to start working on
your hands.
Yeah.
Your hand skills. But I would definitely recommend even like right before going to dental school, if you have a chance to like work on your hand skills, because it'll definitely help once you get in, because you're gonna be from day one you're gonna be drilling and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was pretty important that it's not just about like studying, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not just about using your brain and trying to fix problems. Like you gotta actually be able to maneuver your hands well
Yeah.
to fix up problems for the patient, right? What are some of the skills that maybe people who are looking into dental industry would be a good practice to have before or even like while you're on the program for the dental industry?
Like schools, a lot of like undergrads have like their own like pre-dental society or pre-dental clubs, and I know like a lot of those clubs they do have like those like arts and craft nights and stuff where they I think like make pottery or I don't know make like things out of clay, or they do like what is it the sewing and things like that. So I think like all those things do help can help a lot. One specific I guess is like so. We in dental school we do what are called waxing or wax ups, where we take wax, melt it, and then basically make a tooth out of it, and then so, yeah, things like that.
Yeah, so let's just now talk about how you prepare to get into the dental program
Okay.
in the grad school.
So I guess the first like major step I took was preparing for the DAT. Like that's the dental like the standardized test, kind of like SATs but for dental school, and I started studying for that the end of my junior year during the summer for 2 months, and then yeah, so usually like the recommended studying time is like 2 to 3 months if you can like focus solely on that. And then thankfully I only took it once. Like I was happy with my score the first time.
Nice.
And then so I did that. So I took that at the end of my junior year, and then I actually applied to dental school at the end of my senior year. So I took a gap year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So if
see.
you apply at the end of senior year, I'll start attending the year after. So I applied, and then I applied that summer after I graduated. And then I submitted like the first day, like June 1st, and then I got interviews like July, August, September, around those times, and then I heard back from the schools on December 1st that year. So I got accepted to one of the schools in December, to Rutgers in December, and then after that, like I had like 8 months of just freedom because of my gap year. So
This sounds amazing to just have that free 8 month relaxing.
Honestly, it was it was really
Because
relaxing.
you don't want to be in school.
Yeah, no,
it's not fun.
And people say like right before dental school, like just enjoy that. You'll never get that much amount of free time.
Right.
Yeah, so enjoy that free time. That's
Wow, that's very nice.
Yeah.
I guess having a gap year may not be a bad idea for some people.
And actually I think it's becoming more common these days. So, and like during those gap years you can like use that time to work at like a dental office or like improve like other areas of your application other than just grades. So
Yeah, for sure. I just want to know what is interview like to get into like the dental school, like what type of questions you got, if you remember any of them, or how did you prepare your interview?
So it's really similar to like I think also like a job interview. They'll ask you like basic questions like tell me about yourself, and like why do you want to pursue dentistry, and the most important question like why do you want to come to our school. So I guess those are like the 3 most common questions that almost every school will ask. And then after that they'll just kind of ask you like stuff on your application, like can you tell me about like this activity that you wrote, or this and that, and some other like small questions.
Any specific things that you did to prepare for an interview?
Oh yeah, so I looked up like a lot of like on like online like those I don't know if you're familiar with SDN or Student Doctor Network. It's like a website that a lot of pre-meds and pre-dents use to kind of get like tips and like advice and like make a lot of posts and stuff. But if you go to their website, like they have like you can look up like common like interview questions for medical school or for dental school. And then so you can actually what I did was I looked up those questions, and then I kind of like typed up my response beforehand. I kind of like, and then I rehearsed and then before an interview I would rehearse those answers, but then I'll make sure like during the interview I didn't sound too like robotic.
Right.
So you want to sound natural, but I want to make sure you want to know what you're gonna say.
Right.
So kind of that's one way. And also at Rutgers undergrad there's one of the learning centers, they have like a interview coach or like a tutor that you can sign up for.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So if you sign up for those online, and then they'll like reach out to you, and then they'll do like a one-on-one kind of like tutoring or coaching kind of. They were like it's like a mock interview as well.
Do you think that was helpful?
I think that was very helpful.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so she gave me like feedback on like even like the littlest things. It's like because also like so I had my interview during COVID, so some interviews were actually online, and like when I was doing the mock interview, apparently like the first one that I did, I was like so nervous. I was like shaking my chair like this, but I didn't notice during the interview.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and then my tutor, she pointed out, she's like, oh, like you're like shaking your chair, and it's really disturbing. And then so I made sure never to do that again. But I'm glad that like he pointed that out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kind of remember when I didn't even know that Rutgers offered a lot of, those like extra support. But one thing I wanted to mention is that once you actually look around what you have in your school, there are actually so much resources that you never thought of. And I think that you can really benefit from some of the resources.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's really important to just notice there are actually so many things that you don't know that could benefit you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty important to just kind of
Definitely.
have that set in. But also, like you said, I think when you first do the interview, you cannot do a perfect interview for the first time unless you're like that 1%, But it's pretty hard to be that person, and it's really important to get the feedback. And when I remember, because you mentioned about it, like when I did my first interview, I had like 10 feedbacks, and when I heard it, I was like, wait, am I that bad? But once you like fix that, it gets better, right?
Yeah,
so I
can only improve.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty important to also note that as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So first semester in the dental school, is there anything that you learned or noticed after finishing that semester as a dental student?
Especially dental school, you cannot procrastinate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the.
Let's go.
Yeah, you can. If you're a procrastinator and want to get into dental school, you need to change that right now. Like things will pick up so quickly, and I think just the volume of material you're learning in like a short amount of time. Like what makes like dental schools hard is not so much like just the material, but like it's just the volume that you have to know. Amount of stuff that you have to know in a short amount of time. So, like we have like 1 to 2 exams like every week.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like do not like I think when I first started like I procrastinated like the first half and it was bad. So so the second half I really had to like work hard to like pick it back up. But yeah, you cannot procrastinate. And then like some other things I learned, I'd say because for dental school like usually like your class is very small. So like my graduating class is only 90 people.
That's called small?
Compared to undergrad.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't know. Maybe my idea was but I don't know. But for me at least, it kind of like was small. So you do really get close with like a lot of the people in your class, and I think it's nice that like you're kind of like suffering together. So it's like it's like
you need a friend.
Yeah, you need a friend.
You gotta suffer together.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
study hard if you want to get into dental school.
Yeah.
And how long is dental school?
So 4 years, and then if you wanna specialize or like do like extra specialties, then depending on what specialty, it'll be like an extra couple, like 2 to 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are some specialties out there we can choose?
So there's something called endodontics, and then I think that works with like your root canal like underneath like your tooth.
Wow.
And
that's
then,
deep.
And then it's like a lot of like nerves and like blood like vessels there, so it's like they kind of right there. And then there's there's oral surgery. I think that's like the hardest to get into, and that's I think 4 years. So that's the longest one of the specialty. There's orthodontics, which is like braces and like retainers and stuff. I think those are like the pretty popular ones.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for actually sharing your information. I hope that these information are useful for a lot of people who are thinking about the medical school. And I hope you guys can do the same thing once you guys get to our position. So thank you for joining our interview today, and I'll see you guys next time. Boom.